All right, so for my final project, I decided to choose Paris's fourth district, which is the district of Notre Dame and the Isle Saint Louis. I chose this one specifically because it interested me from initially reading the Balzac description in the Farragut story. So I decided to visit that district for the first Streets of Paris discussion that we had. And after visiting, I realized that the description in the Farragut story is entirely different than what I actually saw. It's actually the complete opposite. And he described it as kind of ghost-like, desolate, an area that no one would ever want to venture into. But now the area is actually it's quite nice, and it looks to me like just a typical Parisian neighborhood. We've gotten to see a lot of Paris and experience the different zones, and to me, this is kind of what Paris just is idealized by, is like this neighborhood, kind of narrow streets, and it's really lively. It's one of my favorite areas in Paris because it's a unique tourist cross section, a ton of restaurants and bars, and it's located right across the river, and it's really scenic. But it's also really interesting to me how, we talked about this in class, how every area has its own unique historical background and history, and just like Sacré-Cœur on Montmartre, which we visited a couple weeks ago, that has its own connection to the Revolution. Well, Fourth District has a connection to a dark time in Paris' history, and it's easy to tell from the Balzac reading that this area was it was obviously pretty desolate, and according to him, bad things happen when the social classes mixed and whatnot. But today it couldn't be any more opposite. I think walking through the area, I was able to kind of mentally juxtapose his description with what I saw, and I got a unique experience because I can sort of see where that could happen back in the 1800s, but for now it's the complete opposite. But we also talked in class about Haussmann's redesigning of the Parisian streets, and this was a really big deal because it kind of again continued to change Parisian culture. But it's obvious to tell now with the wide boulevards and just how all of this worked. If you walk down the Champs-Élysées, you'll see wide boulevards, but and some of the other areas in Paris, in the center of Paris, it's quite evident there as well. But here in the 4th District, it doesn't seem as though it's been hit by Haussmann's redesigning as much. Obviously, there's one or two big wide boulevards running through the center of the district, but walking through down the little side streets, it seems like he didn't really touch that area, and it kind of kept the integrity of the zone intact. But that's not to say that the zones aren't busy, because they're still filled with people. But it's just a different dynamic, because there's still shops on every street, and it's loaded with people, and it just looks like a typical Parisian neighborhood, and it's kind of different than what you would see around, say, the Louvre, which is very wide open, and the garden of the Tuileries and the Arc de Triomphe, where it's very wide and narrow and open, and it's designed so that people see these areas. But with this district, it seems like it's very different. But on a personal level, I think this area appealed to me because, again, it's like the quintessential Parisian neighborhood, and this was one of the first areas we went to when we got into Paris to eat, and I loved it because I think it's just it's so culturally interesting to me, and coming into Paris, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Everyone has stereotypes of French people not liking Americans or being unfriendly, but I found the area to be lively and culturally stimulating, and with the massive Notre Dame Cathedral and the fountain right in front of it and the river, and I was pleasantly surprised by how nice French people actually were. not just in this area, but in all around Paris and all around the country, from when we traveled to Compiègne and Normandy as well. And it amazed me because it completely reversed my ideas of what I came in expecting Paris to be. And interacting with the French people in each area has been probably my favorite part of the trip, because I love going to travel and see new places, but at the same time, like, I want to get a feel for other people and how they live life as well. And it's obvious that we're obviously not like the French, and they know that we're Americans. But I think it would have, in my mind, it was going to be a lot harder to interact with them. But I think their willingness to help us made it a lot easier when we tried to talk to them when we ordered food or needed directions. And it seemed like as long as you tried just a little bit of French, they kind of laughed with you and joked, but they eventually helped you. And I think France also surprised me on a much deeper cultural level, because I didn't realize the extent of French history through that you can visualize through the sculptures, through art, as well as through text, and sometimes more so through text. And I didn't realize how architecture and text and art shapes the way we see French history. And it's something I learned, just in this past month. And the amount of material that we've covered has been like pretty extensive, but at the same time, it's allowed me to see France in a different way. And traveling through the different areas, going to see the people, just experiencing French culture paired with these trips, I think has made for a pretty unforgettable experience for me, at least. And I didn't realize that I would like and appreciate art and French literature as much as I have grown to in the past couple weeks. And it's been a great experience for me. But I put together a few of the photos that I took traveling through all the different areas, and some of my favorite moments from the trip that kind of pull the material and the trips from the two courses kind of together. So without further ado, here it is. I want you to know I'm leaving to let you go. Someday we'll walk upon the streets of gold. Someday we'll
I'm gonna find you again, just in a place where love can't die. Yeah, yeah, I want you to know. When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold, when your dreams all fail and the ones we hail are the worst of all and the bloods run stale, I wanna hide the truth, I wanna shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Curtains call, it's the last of all. When the lights fade out, all the sinners crawl, so they do.